sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. In the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the breakfast show with myself, Steve-O. And yes, before we get started, I'm going to model the latest bit of merchandise. You may have seen it on Twitter. But yeah, in fact, I'll stand a bit further back so you'll be able to see. There we are. Look at that. Look at that. Eat, sleep, elite, repeat. Fantastic. Obviously that's the custom made version. I just hate wearing shirts, so I just essentially just cut the sleeves off. It's great. Yeah, what a turn up for the books today's been. I woke up at 2:30 in the morning, had my breakfast, went to the bathroom, used the facilities, and I find out that it's double game week 29 officially announced, as it's up on screen right now. And I was so disappointed. I'm when it comes to fantasy football, and when it comes to certainly doing this streaming, I've become the most selfish pig on the planet. And I was really, really hoping that it wouldn't be announced. No, forget that. I was hoping it was going to be announced, but after the game had updated, I was going to love it. I would have found it absolutely hilarious. You'd see everybody going absolutely ape about it. Unfortunately not. It's been announced, and now everybody's going to be bringing in various assets. So this stream's kind of taken a bit of a turn. This is the predictor show. We are going to be doing our predictions. So as ever, if anybody wants to come join me live, jump in the waiting room on Discord. I'll be more than happy to. In fact, I'll just let you speak, because as I always say, I can never be bothered to speak. So I'll just allow you guys to chat away, talk about the games, etc., the upcoming game. But also, isn't it ironic? I've just seen a comment, and I will get to the people in chat in a second. I've just seen a comment which made me smile. I think it was from Harbour Boy, which basically said this. There's something to do with hits. There we are. It is Harbour Boy. Everyone is doing hits, so it evens everything out exactly. And isn't it ironic? I do a -12 last game week, and I actually rose in the ranks by 100,000 places. That was the biggest. I can't say a swear word, so that's the biggest Mickey take I think ever. And actually, you know what? It proves my point about me and differentials, and how I couldn't care less about. It's like I was listening to the Hangout live on Discord reaction to my stream, live reacting to the results on game week 28. And there are individuals saying, why isn't he going mental for? Why isn't he annoyed at the fact that, why would I? And this is what makes me laugh, is like, people evidently don't listen to the stream, or they don't listen to anything I have to say. So that's why I'm an absolute effing C, is because I'm happy to say it as it is, and people don't like it. I couldn't care less. And what I find fascinating is that people seem to think that I care about, I don't know, for example, let's just say, for argument's sake, if I'd have captained Salah, and the majority of the game captained Salah anyway, and he went absolutely mental, then yeah, I'd be happy. But reality being is, it's a bit like, well, yeah, but everybody else has got Salah captain. It makes no difference. However, if my differential captain was to pay off, if I was to choose one, let's just say for argument's sake, Jimenez, I'd be going absolutely, I'd be flaming smashing the vodka. And when I was listening to the stream and everybody's like going, he's not angry that Danny Ings didn't start him. So what? Everybody owns Danny Ings. The fact that Watford beat Liverpool 3-0 and people were like, why isn't he going mental about Salah, Mane and Trent blanking? Who cares? I'm more interested in the result that actually happened between Watford and Liverpool than I was fantasy football, because everybody was in the same boat as me, albeit I captained Mane. But it doesn't matter, because everybody else had captained Salah, everybody else had captained Mane. There was the odd person, for example, Jason, who captained Fernandes. Brilliant. And he should be, as it was demonstrated in the stream, when was it, on Sunday, when he came live on air and wanted to express his what's the word I'm looking for, his amazement at the fact that Fernandes had come through and got him 20 points. It's amazing. I'd be doing the same. It's the same with Bouna when it came to his free hit, and he had Alonso and Giroud. Alonso, I don't know how many bloody points he got, but it's a differential. And he absolutely skyrocketed up the ranks, or whatever, however it ended for him. It doesn't matter. The point being, though, is that on Saturday evening, Bouna flew up. He went up to like, I don't know, 50,000th, whatever. It doesn't matter. But that's my point about differentials. That's why I go... Again, I keep going on about it. Everybody seems to think that when I do live reactions, that I'm going to go absolutely bananas and go... Like Paul E came on and was like, oh, I'm surprised you didn't swear. Why would I? Everybody's in the same boat. However, if my differentials fail, the differentials which I've taken a quote-unquote calculated risk on, if they fail, then yeah, I'm going to be like... I'm fuming because I've taken a chance on X amount of players with logic and they'd have failed me. And it's just like, well, I am going to be angry. But if I just do like, I don't know, for example, like I said to you, like Mane captain or whatever, albeit it was all a bit of fun, the coin flip and everything, the reason as to why I captain Mane. But the point being, is so what? I'm just in the same boat as everybody else. And that's why I'm amazed that in fact, point proven regarding the Jimenez and Jota -12, part of my -12, came through. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Absolutely incredible that I've moved up 100,000 places. It means Jack... Oh, I nearly swore then. It means Jack in the Cash Mini League. I've moved nowhere. I think I moved up like 2 places. I'm still about 1,000 points off flaming 4th spot, so it doesn't matter. From an overall rank point of view, it's looking good, but that's why this is why I'm glad Harbour Boy brought up the point that everybody's just going to be taking it. Exactly. Even my -12, ironically, there were people that had taken -8s. So really, I'm only 4 points down on these people. Even like there's a lot of people that took -4s. I'm only 8 points down. You get the flaming idea. I'm boring myself now talking about it, but... Yeah, welcome to the Breakfast Show. Welcome to everybody that's joining me live. Obviously, the majority of you guys are from across the pond. There's not going to be many people listening from the UK. If you are, I know Phil's here. Good morning. Please just say hello if you are from the UK. But Nasu, J-Boy, Armand Dillon, Dave Lister, just mentioned Phil there. Krill Kasarov, Armand Dillon, hits. Yes, take them. Take as many hits. And in fact, funny enough, this stream is going to be potentially dedicated to me doing some various transfers into my team, because why not? May as well. In fact, funny enough, Harbour Boy, Leno, Phil making the point, I'm considering him, yeah. I'm considering Edison. Morning, Taylor Wilson, Adrian, Sexy Shirt Steve though. EliteFPL.com. Go buy one. Mark Antigua's here. My goodness, have not heard from that gentleman for a very, very long time. Gaddy Repaport. Morning, pal. Good morning, good morning, good morning. See if there is anybody in the waiting room that wants to come live on air. No. Again, you're more than welcome to come live on air with me to chat about the upcoming game week. I am going to be looking for somebody that wants to talk about, more importantly, predict the upcoming game week, because like I said, we do play a nice little game, and at the moment I'm not happy with this. The callers are slowly catching up with me. So this season I've won 9 game weeks. The callers have won, they've moved up to 7. The history's moved up to 7 based on this week. In fact, I've changed it up a bit. It's gone on form now. Form being the last 3 results for each individual club at their respective home or away record. And that came through. In fact, last week it came through with 2 results bang on the money, them being the Newcastle game and the Man U game. Both being draws, of course, 0-0 and 1-1. So that came through. So well done to the form there. And yeah, my predictions are going a bit south at the moment, so it's not particularly going well. Something that I pride myself on, my predictions. I'm normally pretty good regarding predictions, but as of late, pretty pants. Jack Parry's from Wales. Morning. Just of interest, what are you doing up at 6:20 in the morning? That would be interesting for me. Harbour Boy, dinner time here, so can't come live on air. Why don't you eat while you're Eat live on air. The Gooner, Matt Brunton, up early and on my way to work, Steve-O. I wonder if you'll be listening. Well, I'm assuming you'll be listening in live. Yeah, J-Boy, thank you. That's right, Steve-O. I was actually bagging on about Firmino to score, and I couldn't care less about my Salah as captain. Exactly. Resi Desi's here. Blimey, Andy, what are you doing? It's very, very early in the morning. Very, very early in the morning indeed. Yeah, and if nobody knows this, up on screen at the moment is the announcement of the double game week. So I would, if anybody's watching this, I would just recommend taking a -8 or -12 to bring in Man City Arsenal. You are rivals at the end of the day. Phil, just got in from a night shift, so I may crash out soon. If I'm asleep when you do your moves, bear in mind, bringing in a player with a double is effectively a -2. Yes, I couldn't agree more. It really is. And when it comes to Man City, I think I may actually go defensive-wise, because I've already got Kevin De Bruyne, and I'm probably going to captain him. And then, of course, from their defensive point of view, I may go the most safest, which is whoever their centre-back is, and Edison. Akadu, good morning, Steve. It's Steve-O, come on. Taylor Wilson, get Mustafi, and Louise, get stuffed. No chance. Resi Desi making the point there, he's an early bird. And let's just quickly bring up my team, because I'm sure people are going to be wanting to stare at the team. But interestingly enough, before this double game week was announced, I had a bit of a dilemma. I had a very serious dilemma because I didn't actually know who the hell to play. So this is my team up on screen right now, and for people listening in audio, this is what my dilemma was. I didn't know whether to play a 3-4-3 and play Ings ahead of Saka, or go with a 3-5-2 and drop Ings. I don't know who to play out of Henderson or Pope. It's probably going to be Henderson, to be honest with you, but then I kind of want Nick Pope in the Tottenham game that we're covering just for entertainment value. But at the moment up on screen, yeah, that is my team. It's Henderson in goal, Soyuncu, Trent, Bowley, Fernandes, Salah, Mane, Saka and De Bruyne. And yes, before this double game was announced, I'd already put the captaincy on De Bruyne because I don't like captaining early team players, match players, whatever. So I'd already had it on De Bruyne, but now this double game week's been announced, which hasn't even been updated on the actual game yet. I'm just captaining De Bruyne. Jimenez and Jota are on my front two. On my bench, I've got Ings. So I'd be actually benching Ings for the simple fact that Southampton are just, in my opinion, they're pants. The fact that he didn't play the other day, apart from 36 minutes, is it concerning? Yes, it is. I don't know why he was rested. If anybody wants to let me know in chat, was it a bit of an injury? Was he just being rested? I have no idea, but I'd like to know why he didn't play on Saturday, because, like I say, for a player of such high ownership to not be playing, I'm just thinking of just getting rid. To be honest, I may even just, throw in a load of Man City players and just play a bench boost just for a laugh. Kev here. Morning, Kev. Sorry, mate. Hate to leave you hanging in the middle of another night of packing for moving my missus. Will have my guts forgot if I don't. Come on, someone, get on and get your predictions logged. Yeah, exactly. If you want to come live on air and just get your predictions for this particular double game week, please do. Just log in. Gavin Gould, get Aubameyang in West Ham defence, awful. City defence average. City defence average. Have you seen the amount of clean sheets they've been keeping recently? Barring the cup game where it's going to be, end to end anyway, I wouldn't bother with that. J-Boy, I'm not looking at City too much. There's too much money. And yeah, I agree. Nasu making a very, very excellent point here. Don't forget Liverpool play first, so we could get some surprising news. Yeah, and of course last night, Liverpool lost again. I don't care if it was the FA Cup or not. It's going to affect you. It's going to affect you from a psychological point of view. And they played a relatively decent team last night, but admittedly Chelsea played a lot more stronger team. But Liverpool lose again. They've conceded again. It's a bit concerning. It really is. What? No graphics. What? No graphics? Ings did carry a bit of an injury. Did he? Right, okay. Done his groin in... Right, thank you, Taylor. Right, okay. So, apparently Ings has hurt his groin, basically. Right, okay. Fair enough. Ake. Is it time to take a free hit or do we do a minor score? I wouldn't bother... me personally, I wouldn't bother doing a free hit. I mean, let's just... For the sake of argument, let's just say for the sake of argument, let's just put on team screen now. Like I say, I'm just going to have a bit of fun with it. So, who shall we remove to make money? So, obviously, Saka's got a double game week. So is De Bruyne. So, we're going to be keeping them. God, this is tough. This is tough. This is... This is horrible. Henderson or Pope? Let's get rid of Henderson because he costs more money. How much is Edison? How much is Edison, just of interest? At least he's guaranteed to play both games. He's 6 million. Blimey. Okay. I've got no money in the bank either. Blast. I could be... This is going to be horrid. If you're that desperate to be bringing in Man City players or Liverpool, this is going to be absolutely horrid. Let's just, for argument's sake, take out Marnie because he played last night. Let's get rid of Ings. Get lost. Let's put in, as most people are saying, get an Aubameyang. No, Aubameyang's West Ham. Let's just put him in for the sake of it. Let's just put in Aubameyang for argument's sake, and that gives me a tiny bit of money to play with. Not much. Just throw in Aubameyang. I hate doing live transfers. It's so boring. And who's a £7 million? Is there a Man City midfielder that's 7 million? Mahrez? No. David Silva? No. Gundogan? Oh, this is ridiculous. I may even just save a transfer. But I really can't be bothered to go through with this now because I'm actually boring myself doing this. But then again, we could do it live on air and you could advise me on what to do. Let's cheat. Let's get some advice in. Gavin Gould, who would you replacement Traore be? I have no... Let me know how much money you've got in the bank. Disguise. A bench boost for me this week. He's got Saka, Stevens, McCarthy and Fernandes on his bench. I'm assuming that's Fernandes of Newcastle, the defender. I personally think that it's got to be used in a better game week than this, personally. Although, ironically, I've actually got a solid bench where I could potentially play bench boost, but I'd rather have... I always say this, I'd rather have a bench boost full of 15 double game week players whenever that will happen towards the end of the season rather than anything else. Morning, Gabriel Derop. Jordy Kev, I've already went Gomez to Doherty. Very nice. Kicking myself for not doing it last week, but makes total sense now. It's an excellent move. Excellent move. Nasu, wouldn't bother to get Edison. City defence is a shambles. Anybody can score against them. Taylor Wilson, I'm assuming you're referring to the fact that you're thinking of getting in Bergwijn. You know what? I predicted that Burnley are going to lose 2-1 against Tottenham. I think that their Tottenham's quality will shine through, but I I don't think Bergwijn's such a bad shout. I really don't think he's such a bad shout. Getting rid of Aubameyang. Well, my predictions, right? This is my predictions for Man City. I think they're going to beat Arsenal 3-0. And I think they're going to beat Man United 2-1. So that's basically 5 goals and conceding once. Their record against Arsenal is absolutely ridiculous. And I just don't think Arsenal have the quality to do anything against City. They may score. The form is suggesting 2-1 to Man City in that game. And it's actually going 1-0 to them versus United. So that's actually expecting, once again, a clean sheet to City in one of the 2 games. So I'd like to have a player. But Mendy, I forgot about Mendy. He's only 5.5, but is he a rotation risk? Well, the thing is that I'm sure. Yeah. Why did he miss Sheffield United and Tottenham? If anybody can tell me why Mendy missed Sheffield United and Tottenham, I'll be grateful, because I wouldn't mind actually having him, to be honest with you. Taylor, Aguero, nah, forget that. Forget that. Gavin Gould, I've got 3.4 in the bank. And you're getting get rid of Traore. Blimey, I would you could buy anybody. What's that? 5.8. That's what, 8 million or something? Yeah, Bergwijn, Fernandes, Richarlison. Richarlison's a good shout this game week. Do you know who, before this game week was actually going to start, do you know what I was going to do? Despite it causing me a bit of a headache, if this double game week wasn't going to be announced, I was actually going to get Giroud in for Ings. Genuinely, that's what I was going to do. So if I just quickly put it up on screen, my original transfer was actually going to be Giroud in for Ings, just for a punt, because he's going to play against Everton. Everton just concede left, right and centre. And I just thought, do you know what? And do you know what I was even thinking of doing? I was actually genuinely thinking of captaining him, just for a laugh. Because I can see him doing really well versus Everton. He was unlucky last night not to score the ball coming off underneath the crossbar. If only watched the game, let me know if Giroud played well. Morning, Shano83. Your thoughts on Traore to Saka? Well, I've already got Saka. So, as a punt, I'd recommend it. But Saka is ridiculous. He just seems to get an assist every single match that he seems to play in. Almost. Yep, assist there. Assist in game week 23. He got a couple of assists in the Europa League as well. He was very, very unlucky not to get an assist in the game against Olympiacos. I think Saka's a great shout. I think just for 4.5 million, just as a punt, I think that's a great shout. Taylor Wilson, do it. Listen to your own advice. Yeah, but it's all changed now, Taylor. Remember. That news up on screen at the moment. Double game week announcement. We can't look past it. Although, is it going to be one of those double game weeks where actually you're just better off just having one, the players that you've already got, and then just leave it? Is it really that desperate to be bringing in Man City and Arsenal players? Let's be honest here, the answer is no. But seeing as nobody actually wants to join me live on air, I'm just going to go for the predictions now, because, like I say, I don't want to be going on and on. If nobody wants to come live on air, I have nothing to talk about. So basically, I'm just going to be a selfish git and just predict the scores right now, and I'll just give you my thought processes on each particular thing. But like I said, the game hasn't actually updated the double game week, so I can't actually bring it up specifically up on screen right now. So what I can do is I'll just go for each thing. And by the way, if anybody's listening, and I wonder if you'll be copying it for the predictor game on the website, that would be funny. If anybody does actually copy why you would, I have no idea, but if you'd copy my thing. Right. Steve-O, Mendy wasn't playing as Zinchenko was playing, then got sent off versus Tottenham. Right. Samuel, if you already took a -12, then use your free. I haven't done any hits. -12 was last week. And that paid off. Akadu is saying Liverpool won, Bournemouth won. You know what? It really would not surprise me whatsoever, but I just, as ever, I tell you what, the history for Liverpool versus Bournemouth just reads 3-0 or 4-0 to Liverpool. Me personally, I've gone, both myself and the form have gone 2-0. I think that Liverpool could just go back to absolute basics here. Klopp coming out, a bit annoyed at the questions being asked regarding the Watford result. He's getting a bit sick of it. He came out and just basically said to the journalist, I don't want to talk about that game. Can we just talk about anything but that game? And I think they're going to tighten up. I don't know if Gomez is back. If Gomez is back, then that may actually be able to solidify their defence. But that statistic... Oh. Not about that statistic about every time Lovren plays, essentially, Liverpool concede a shed load. Oh, blimey, Sam. You've already taken a -12. Oh, God, then, yeah, I would then advise you to do the free hit. Depending on what you think about these particular matches, so obviously Man United versus Man City, and then obviously City at home to Arsenal, depending on how you think those games are going to go, it's very difficult because I'm in a very similar situation to me. I'd rather load up on City than Arsenal. Arsenal are absolutely useless. And Arsenal, in actual fact, West Ham, I think are going to cause problems for Arsenal. I really do. I truly do think West Ham could cause Arsenal problems. And do you know what? Potentially could beat Arsenal. You heard it here first. Especially if West Ham continue attacking. In fact, that's on there. So for Liverpool versus Bournemouth, I just think that Liverpool will just do a professional job, and I think it'll end up 2-0 to Liverpool. Then we move on to Arsenal versus West Ham. Vince, if you want to come live on air, by all means. Morning, Steve. I've currently got my captaincy on Jota, and I have Salah, Aubameyang, Kevin De Bruyne. I wouldn't even be bothering captaining Wolves players because they are absolutely useless against these rubbish teams. I know you're a rival, but realistically, Wolves are pants versus these rubbish teams. And we'll get onto that game in a minute. But yes, Arsenal versus West Ham. I think this is going to be very, very tight. I think that there is a chance that West Ham could potentially cause an upset here with their recent results. I think the way they're playing at the moment, they're just going for it. We saw what happened in the Liverpool game. We saw what they did against Southampton, albeit Southampton are pretty much on the beach now, and at home they are genuinely pointless. Arsenal at home, we saw what happened with Olympiacos, and based on what Ali at work said to me, and Charlie in fact as well, said that they were absolutely atrocious. It really wouldn't surprise me if this game ended 1-1. I am just edging it in Arsenal's favour 2-1. But once again, I think that this could be very, very close. The form though is actually suggesting 3-1 to Arsenal. So maybe actually loading up, if you've got Aubameyang, then maybe captaining him this particular game week. Nasu making the point. Arsenal struggle against City and West Ham. Don't see them scoring many goals, nor do I. Kev coming in with his FPL bias. Captain Aubameyang, 4-2 Arsenal. There's your bias. FPL bias coming in. Moving on to Crystal Palace. In-form Crystal Palace versus Watford. Of course, Watford with that famous victory versus you-know-who, Liverpool last week. But for me, I think Watford are going to have the confidence, and based on Crystal Palace's home form, I think Watford are going to edge this, and I mean edge this once again. This could be 0-0, this could be 1-1, 2-1 either way. Well, I've gone the way of Watford. I think Watford are going to edge this based on the fact that Crystal Palace's home record is rubbish. So I think that Watford are going to just edge this 2-1. The form, though, is suggesting 1-1. Now, moving on to another team that's going to be blanking in 31, I believe. Sheffield United, obviously winning last night in extra time against Reading. They played pretty much a full-strength squad, give or take. Ended 1-1 90 minutes. Then eventually, I can't even remember who scored. Was it Billy Sharp that scored the winning goal in extra time? But Sheffield United versus Norwich, this is going to be awful, this game. I really cannot see this. I think Sheffield United are going to be really, really tired. And I truly think that... do you know what? I think Norwich could get a result here. I really do think Norwich could beat Sheffield United. I've gone 0-0. But I truly mean this. I think Norwich could win this game. They're fighting for their lives at the moment. Sheffield United will be tired, I think. And actually, Sheffield United at home aren't actually that great. They're really good away from home. At home, not so. I can see this being 0-0, 1-1, 1-0 either way. I've gone 0-0. The form is suggesting 1-1. Vince, if I am on for the next half an hour, yes, seeing as you're holding a gun to my head, you better be coming on in half an hour. I'll try and drag this out for half an hour longer, and then I'd like to get you live on air to hear about this Jota pick of captaincy. Fascinating to hear why. We then move on to another pair of teams which seem to like to score goals at the moment. It's Southampton versus Newcastle. Newcastle again, of course. Well, they were... well, Kev, you'll be able to talk about this. But Newcastle winning 3-0 against West Brom last night and then conceding 2 late goals. St Maximum is looking absolutely on fire, along with Almiron. It looks like Almiron and St Maximum seem to have some form of partnership going on here. The way Almiron seemed to celebrate, yes, I have actually watched some highlights, and so I can actually comment on what I've seen. The way Almiron seemed to have celebrated with St Maximum, he seemed to have appreciated the ball into him and everything. Seems to be some kind of chemistry going on there, and I am actually predicting. The problem for me though is it's just Newcastle away from home. They're just going to be setting up with 2 brick walls, and they're not going to want to concede. Fact. Southampton, on the other hand, are on the beach. And it really wouldn't surprise me if this ended 1-1, 2-1 either way. I mean, saying all that, I've gone 1-0 Southampton. I think this game is going to be one of those, a bit like with the Aston Villa game when it was like, what was it? Harbour Boy was commentating from it with Jason. And it was 1-0 for like the whole match until literally the last second when, of course... whoever it was, I forget now, Shane Long, wasn't it, scored that last second goal to make it 2-0 to Aston Villa. To Southampton. And I can see that happening again. I can see this being like 0-0 for the majority of the game, or 1-1, and then Southampton nicking it. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if this ended in Newcastle's favour. It really, really wouldn't surprise me at all. And now talking of Vince Chapman's captaincy option here, Jota. It's Wolves up against Brighton. And once again, Wolves do not like playing these particular fixtures. Although, to counter that point, of course, Brighton don't set up to shut up shop. So there's a chance that actually Wolves could take advantage of this, and Sai saying 4-0 to Wolves. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. Brighton actually, coincidentally, have actually been scoring on the road. They don't exactly shy away from scoring. Incidentally, and the form is suggesting 1-1 between Southampton and Newcastle. It was actually kind of edging in Newcastle's favour 2-1, so maybe a 2-1 there. But yeah, regarding Wolves versus Brighton, it's actually suggesting the same as me, the form 2-1 versus Brighton. And Nasu making the point, Wolves always score at home. Yeah, they do, yeah. Of course they do. Wolves are an excellent team. But I just think they're going to struggle here. They'll win. Like I said, I think it's going to be a close game. I think 2-1 is a reasonable result. Could even be 1-0, 2-0. But I just see Brighton scoring. And yeah, I've gone personally 2-1. Armand Dillon saying 3-0. 3-0. Vince Chapman would be happy with that, especially if Traore is out. And of course, if Traore is out, well, it means Jota will be playing up front in that 3-5-2 formation. And now onto the game that I will be covering. Yes, I will be covering on Saturday evening, Burnley versus Tottenham. We are on some excellent form at the moment. However, I have this feeling that we're going to be caught out by Spurs. Spurs seem to be our bogey team. They really, really do. And I think Spurs are going to edge this. And I mean edge this. It's mainly because I think that both us and Spurs seem to have this relationship where it's almost like... So yeah, it's a bit like when we play Man City or when we play Arsenal. It's almost like an inferiority. Is that the word? Inferior complex. Let's just leave it at that. And I truly do think that, unfortunately, our winning streak is going to come to an end against Spurs, just based on the fact that the quality of their players. I mean, Sai saying 0-0. That's not going to be 0-0. I remember when we were saying this about the Chelsea game, and I remember saying that actually, pretty much the same thought processes, really. I think that Chelsea's are going to edge it. I think I said at the time maybe 2-1 or something, and we all know how that ended. It was the Pulisic hat-trick. They won 4-2, wasn't it? And I just think this is going to be an open game. I really do. I think this is going to be an open game. I see a scoring against Spurs, and I think it's going to be 2-1. However, funny enough, the form, though, is suggesting 2-1 to Burnley, and exactly like Armand Dillon saying. So we move on to Sunday afternoon, which is Chelsea versus Everton. Chelsea having that storming win versus Liverpool last night. That's a huge confidence booster, but we all know Chelsea's pattern. Yes, Chelsea have a pattern forming. And if you don't know what it is, I'll be able to read it out because it's absolutely ridiculous. So once I can load this up on my screen in front of me, it won't be in front of you guys, but it'll be in front of me. And Chelsea's pattern is very, very peculiar indeed. This is all competitions, by the way. This isn't just the Premier League. This is all competitions. And I just find this so surreal. So, since well, here we go. Blimey, we are going all the way back to when... This is crazy. We are going all the way back to the 26th of October. And how funny is this? Ever since Chelsea beat us 4-2, this has been the pattern for Chelsea in all competitions. And it goes like so. Win, which was against us. Loss, win, draw, win, loss, draw, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, draw, win, win, loss, draw, win, draw, loss, win, loss, draw, win. Basically, every time Chelsea win, they follow it up with either a draw or a loss. This particular fixture, I think Everton are going to go for it. They're going to smell... I think Ancelotti is going to want to beat his former team. Of course, I just realised this is the game... Well, not the game, but this is the manager that was just... What was it? Him along with Ray Wilkins was sacked at half-time. Is that right? If anybody wants to clarify in chat. So whoever they were playing, he was fired in the dressing room by Abramovich. So I think Ancelotti is going to want to... I think he's going to want to win this game desperately. Although he was sent off, wasn't he, against United? So he's not. I don't think he's going to be allowed in the stands. I don't know what the situation is. If anybody watching this live wants to clarify that point, but yeah, I think Everton can go for this. The Champions League places, because of Chelsea's form, have absolutely blown right open. You could argue. I mean, I wouldn't, but you could argue that we, Burnley, could potentially fight for the Champions League spot. We are only 7 points behind Chelsea, but it ain't going to happen. But there are so many teams there. But if Everton beat Chelsea, they're 5 points behind Chelsea. But then, of course, if Man United or Wolves win, that means that they're going to go ahead of Chelsea into a fourth spot. It's crazy. And I think this could be a marker for Ancelotti at Everton. We know that, I believe the statistic is that Everton, since Ancelotti has taken over, have scored the most goals behind Man City. And I think this is going to be goals galore. I really, really do. And I'm predicting a 2-2. It's very, very rare I predict high-scoring draws. But I really do think that both teams can't defend, but both teams like to score. And I just think this is going to be an open game. However, like our man Dylan is saying, the form is suggesting Everton are going to win 2-1. The form, along with our man Dylan, is suggesting Everton are going to win 2-1. It really wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me. I think this game is going to be very, very open indeed. And I think it's going to be goals galore. I mean, I can't actually read who that was there. Disguised is saying 1-1. I really, really cannot see this being 1-1. Well, it could end up 1-1. It could end up 0-0. It's just the fact, Disguised, that these two teams are absolutely shocking when it comes to defence. Last night, of course, Kepa had an absolute stormer of a game. But I truly think that, like Yash Razada is saying, Chelsea are abysmal at the back. And yeah, I think that if you've got a Richarlison or Calvert-Lewin, well done to you. You've got a bit of a find there. So yes, I'm going 2-2 and the form is going 2-1 to Everton. Then moving on to the first of start again, shall we? The first of 2 games for Man City. Of course, it's a local derby versus United. And good morning, Dre Zera. You're filming your first proper music video. Well, you know what to do when it's all done. You put it in the Discord. Yeah? You'll be wearing that T-shirt in my video. Brilliant, man. Yeah, if no one knows, I'm wearing the old. Why don't I just do this? It'll be easier. Eat, sleep. There we are. Eat, sleep. I just love the logo. That's what I love. The logo bit. Eat, sleep, elite, repeat. And yeah, I just think it's absolutely a beautiful shirt. I think it's fantastic. Elite.com. EliteFPL.com for that. I know Paulie had it. And there we are. Drazera straight away making that point. Drazera, is this going to be heavy metal? By any chance? Let me know. But yeah, it's Man United versus Man City. Once again, I think this is going to be a tight game. I really do think this is going to be a tight game. But I fear that I say fear, I couldn't care less, to be honest with you. I've got no interest directly into this whatsoever, but I fear that this could be very, very tight indeed. And yeah, I think Man City going to edge this. I think Man City are just about going to edge this 2-1. In fact, the form is suggesting a tight game as well, going 1-0 to Man City as well. Obviously, United are enjoying life with this Bruno Fernandes. He's just absolutely come in, absolutely got Man United playing again. They seem to be enjoying themselves. It's going to be a local derby. I think that Man United could nick it. I really do. But I think, as ever, Man City will do a professional job and just edge this. But it's going to be so tight. Taylor Wilson, will it help me pull birds, Steve-O? All you need to pull birds is just hold out a handful of seeds and they'll come flying, mate. Oh, really? Dre Zera, all I will say is that our drone cameras and high quality filming getting picked up at 8:30 for 8 hours worth of filming. I think we do an 8-hour stream, Dre Zera, so you never know. We'll be still going when you finish. Sydney Hammer, good morning. If you want to come live on air, like I said, we've had no callers. No callers means short streams. I'm going to lie, I've got nothing to talk about. I never do. I can be self-indulgent, but I hate being self-indulgent. It bores me. Because like I said, I'm the flaming one that has to re-listen to these streams again just for my own research purposes, and I can't stand listening to my own voice. So yes, I think this is going to end 2-1 to Man City just. And then everybody seems to have forgotten about the Monday night evening. And it's Leicester versus Aston Villa. Of course, Aston Villa, the team that dumped them out the Carabao Cup. I keep saying this line once again. I think it's going to be very, very tight. I truly think that Leicester are absolutely awful. Good morning, Graf Vasily Filov. Brand new to the stream, are we? Never heard of you before. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the Elite FPL podcast. For anybody who's watching this live right now, and I don't have a clue what's going on, this is the predictor show. I just go through all the games that are being played, and then I just tell you my predictions. And normally we have someone coming live on air, but unfortunately no one is coming live on air. Everybody's too shy. So I'm just going through it myself. But welcome anybody, and if you are brand new around here, it's the usual line: hit the subscribe button. But no, back to this game, Leicester versus Aston Villa. I really do think that these are, well, the funny thing is that Aston Villa are the team that can score. Leicester are absolutely pants. I'm sorry, but I've gone 2-1 to Leicester, but it's only because Leicester are at home. There is something about Leicester at the moment. Obviously, they're playing against Norwich. Is it tonight or tomorrow? So Leicester are playing tonight or tomorrow versus Norwich. Please let me know in chat. I'll tell you what, if Norwich win tonight, if Norwich beat Leicester tonight, then I really do think that... Sorry, I've lost for words. I really do think that there are some issues at Leicester. And it is... Oh, they're against Birmingham. So, it's Tottenham. So Leicester at home to Birmingham. Right, okay. So Leicester at home to Birmingham. I really do think... And I would love it if Birmingham won. But if Leicester don't win tonight, then I think this is going to have serious implications on the Premier League. I just think that, a bit like with Liverpool, a bit like with West Ham, there's just something going on with their teams which is... So it's not clicking. Of course, Liverpool. Liverpool, of course, conceding goals, losing games. I don't care what the circumstances are. Beforehand, Liverpool just seemed quite literally invincible. Any team that seemed to come up against them, it doesn't matter whether they're playing against the kids or not. There was something about the aura about the club which was a winning mentality. Now all of a sudden, just like that, it's gone. In fact, can we date when this started happening? I'm sure we can. So if I just bring it up on for myself, my own purposes, let's just quickly see where it started going wrong for Liverpool. I believe it was Atletico Madrid when they lost 1-0. But we can easily find out once I bring it up for myself. Yeah, it was. In fact, could you argue the game against Norwich when they won 1-0? Liverpool beating Shrewsbury 1-0 in that replay. I wonder. In fact, wasn't it... I can't remember who it was. Someone made a point that ever since it was the pre-season... Sorry. The mid-winter... Whatever you want to flaming call it. The winter break. Someone said that derailed Liverpool. And of course, during the winter break... Or just before it, or just after it, I can't remember. It was Shrewsbury. Oh no, that's right. It was Shrewsbury in during the winter break. That's right, and that's when Klopp came out and said that he's not going to be playing a full strength. He's not even going to be there. That's right. So Shrewsbury drew 2-2 on the 26th of January versus Liverpool. And then it was West Ham 0, Liverpool 2. Liverpool 4-0 versus Southampton. You're thinking, oh, they're back on track now. And then it was the winter break. Liverpool winning 1-0 with their second string team, albeit, wasn't there a goal ruled out for Shrewsbury? Didn't Shrewsbury score, but due to VAR, which again, very harsh on Shrewsbury. They didn't get the goal, and then Liverpool went and scored. A couple of weeks later, or to be precise, 11 days later, 11 days later, Liverpool played Norwich, and Liverpool, well, of course, they won 1-0. Morning, Aussie boy, if you want to come live on air, either do it now, or this stream's going to be cutting off very, very soon. They beat Norwich 1-0, and again, I think in the back of their minds, because 3 days later, they're playing Atletico Madrid, one of the biggest games, I think, this season for Liverpool, arguably. Because they want to progress in the Champions League. They want to defend their title. They had the Premier League wrapped up. It's the Champions League. It's the Champions League that they want to, defend. Now, so to speak. But they lost 1-0, albeit it was after 4 minutes. But you're up against one of the best defences ever known to man. So they lost 1-0. A few days later, Liverpool 3, West Ham 2. 5 days later, Watford 3, Liverpool 0. And then we had it last night. Chelsea 2, Liverpool 0. And like I said, there's something going on there. Which, is it complacency? Is it the fact that they're now thinking, well, we've got the Premier League wrapped up now, we can be careless? I don't think Klopp will allow that. But there's something going on there. Same with West Ham. West Ham of late are starting to pick up. Slowly. Very, very slowly. I'm not suggesting that they're great. They're not. They're rubbish. West Ham are pants. But from my basic understanding, thanks to Suj of Planet FPL, they lose 2-0 to Liverpool. And in fact, their most lowest point since the 25th, we're talking the 25th of January. So since the 10th of January, they've lost 6 games, drawn 2 and won 1, which was the 3-1 against Southampton. I think their lowest point, and I believe a lot of fans were saying this, was the FA Cup game when they lost 1-0 to West Brom. Apparently West Ham were absolutely atrocious. Everybody then thought that Liverpool were going to absolutely annihilate them, and they pretty much did. They absolutely destroyed them. But it only ended 2-0. Then they were up against Brighton. We all know what happened there. Weren't they 3-0 up? My understanding was they were 3-0 up or something. I mean, I don't know why I asked that question. I can easily just access it on my screen in front of me now, and it will give me all the information I need to know. But I'm pretty sure that West Ham were 3-0 or 3-1 up. Oh, they were 2-0 up at half time. Right, okay, so they were 2-0 up at half time. And you're thinking, oh, against a relegation rival, fantastic news, let's move forward with this and everything. And I've got it up on screen in front of me. Right, so it was, 2-0 at half time, and then at second half, on literally within the first minute, Ogbonna scored an own goal. Brighton, and then Robert Snodgrass, that's right, because it was a double game week. That's right, it was the Liverpool double game week. It's all coming back to me now. So Robert Snodgrass scored twice, but he scored the third goal, making it 3-1. But then in the 75th and the 79th minute, Brighton made it 3-3. That's nuts. But as of late, like I said, West Ham seemed to have... I think it was the Man City game, I believe. where they weren't just laying down and dying. They actually kind of gave it a go, albeit Man City came through 2-0, but they gave it a go. Then against Liverpool, once again, we were here live. I was in this room covering the game live. And West Ham 2-2, and of course that last, whenever it was, whoever scored, it was Mane, wasn't it? Mane scoring the third goal. And then he did score a fourth, but it was ruled out for offside or handball. I can't remember. But it was ruled offside, whatever. It was ruled out, the point being. And, yeah, the result didn't reflect the game. Yeah, it was Mane in the 81st minute. Then, of course, we all know what happened there. It was 2-1. It was 1-1 at half time. And then 4-0 scored in the 54th minute. And then they just, whatever happened, they capitulated. And then they lost 3-2. And then they've just beaten West Ham 3-1, and now they're up against Arsenal, who are absolutely deflated at the moment. And I really, like I said to you, there's a lot to go into the psychology of footballers or whatever. And I can't even remember why I even got started on this point about teams that are in form or off form or whatever. I think it may have been to do with the fact that I was covering Leicester versus Aston Villa. But it appears to me that Leicester and Aston Villa, two terrible teams that are just Leicester conceding sloppy goals, Aston Villa just concede goals. I'm going 2-1 to Leicester just. The form is going 2-1 to Leicester just as well. To Leicester just. But it really, really wouldn't surprise me if Aston Villa came out on top on this particular fixture. And then finally, the game, which hasn't, like I said, it hasn't even been added to the official game yet, but it's Man City versus Arsenal. Obviously, I can't comment on what's going to be happening between Arsenal and West Ham, and because I don't know what's happened, because obviously this is being recorded on a Wednesday morning. But if we're going on the way I think it's going to go, I truly think that this Man City versus Arsenal game is going to be a bit like the Man City versus West Ham game. I think it's just going to be a bit of a parade, a bit of a testimonial match. Arteta's going back to Man City, and I just think that Man City are going to come out on this 2-3-0. I've gone 3-0. The form is going 2-1. And finally, we have a caller. And it's our favourite man and our special guest, as ever, that always joins us on the morning show. It's Aussie Boy. Let's bring Aussie Boy live on air. Let's make sure that, that's fine. Let's bring Aussie Boy live on air. And let's get his thoughts on... I'd like to hear his thoughts on Liverpool, actually. Morning, Aussie Boy.
Oh, morning.
Good morning. What time's it in Australia? 8, 9 in the evening?
It's not quite... 6:13 p.m. in Melbourne, where I am.
Oh, is it? Oh, right. Okay. So we've just been talking about. I have anyway. We've been talking about Liverpool. Your thoughts on Liverpool of late?
Well, our defense has been pretty crap, and then just that Watford game was absolutely atrocious. Like, I got up at 4:30 in the morning. Usual excited for watching a win at least. My early wake ups, and then it's just terrible. Like, we just played so poorly. We couldn't. Arsenal.
Where do you think this all started? Where do you think this all stemmed from? I just mentioned the point regarding. I think it started. Well, it wasn't me that said this, but somebody made the point in the chat the other day that it started around about the time the winter break came in.
I'm pretty sure. I think it's since Henderson was injured, as we don't have that kind of captain influence. And he has such an impact on the way our team plays, and he's a leader. I think ever since he did his hamstring, we have not been the same. I personally think it was more him.
You think the simple answer as to why Liverpool are failing is because of Henderson?
Yep.
And just remind, what does Henderson bring to the team that whoever replaces him doesn't. And why do you think that Henderson's being missed is impacting the players like Salah, Mane, Firmino, the defence? Why do you say this? As a fan, of course.
I think from like his leadership, how he leads the team, his pressure, his intensity, and even some of the players said after, I think it was the West Ham game, they said you can really tell that Henderson wasn't there, and his influence isn't like, you don't see it as much, even though you did see it before he got injured on the score sheet, with an assist, but his influence on the team, I think, is great, and that's why he's such a good captain, and I think he's goes under the radar a bit.
Gavin Gould is making a point that he's saying that Liverpool were slowly going down. It wasn't just down to Henderson. Some of the top players in defence are just making stupid mistakes.
Yeah, I think also what did it for us with Watford is why on earth is Klopp playing Lovren? I don't understand. He's pathetic. He's one of the worst, besides Clavan, who we just got rid of. I think he's one of the worst centre-backs I've seen play for us. And we had Matip just there on the bench, who was playing extremely well before he got injured. And I don't understand why he wasn't playing. It just confuses me. And someone like that, he's lazy, and that he doesn't even run back for it, and he's just poor. I think that also had something to do with the specific game on the weekend. But yeah, our defense hadn't been good, but I think the final kind of thing was losing our kind of leader. And it's not like we had someone else who's capable of that role, like James Milner, who was on the bench and he's a good leader and stuff like that. Players like that you don't really see, like, with their skill is important, but I think they are quite important.
Gavin Gould is saying that just look at the Watford game. It's just gone by. Everybody blames Lovren. It wasn't just his fault. He thinks that it was Trent and Van Dijk did not defend the throw-in. Whatever. I don't know specifically what that means, but I'm assuming you watched the game.
It might have been for one goal. I think it's. But the thing is, I just noticed Lovren when I was watching. I noticed Lovren quite a bit more than the others. Obviously, it's not always going to be just one player, but I think a decision like that, when we're already missing kind of one of the main centerpieces to how our team runs in Henderson, I think that playing someone like that is not the best idea. I see where he's coming from, but I just, I think that the defense had a lot to do with him. I think he's just a poor player. Don't know.
We've had the news of the double game week announced at some point yesterday, I think it was. I don't even know myself, to be honest. I only found out this morning. When did you find out about the particular news?
Oh, well, I actually I was on Twitter after school, and I looked and I saw you saying, "Oh, we're doing a breakfast stream," and just found out double game week, and that's how I actually found out.
Morning, Vince.
Good morning. Am I too loud at all?
No, you are perfectly loud and clear, my friend. I can hear you perfectly well. You're joining myself and Aussie Boy. I've got to go for about 30 seconds, but what I am going to do is I'm just going to allow you two to speak about the double game week. But more importantly, just to set you off, Vince, you're Jota captain. So I'm just going to go, but just talk about your Jota captaincy and I'll be back in about 2 seconds, all right?
All right, no worries, mate. Hello, Aussie Boy.
Hello, how's it going, Vince?
Yeah, very good. After last night, Liverpool losing and United remaining the only team in the world to do a treble in England. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me talk about my Jota captaincy for all you guys out there. Hello, guys, in the internet world. Basically, as I see it, Liverpool are pants now, and there's no point captaining Salah. And to be fair, go on.
Liverpool are pants now. We still were on track to, break the record for most points,
Blah, blah, blah. You've never seen your team win a league before. Pipe down. Basically, Liverpool are pants because, actually, I'll say big up to Show Me the Mane because he called it. He benched Salah last week, and he wasn't wrong to do that. Really, noticed that Salah's been playing bad for a while, and I'd have to agree. And I think Steve was mentioning it earlier that when Liverpool had the break, they came back and they were terrible. And I think this same case happened last year when there was a break. And Liverpool came back and drew and lost the next 5 games. So they've still got another 2 poor games to go, I think.
Okay, whatever you say. Let's just see what happens this week.
Why are you captaining Salah then?
Yeah, of course. Bournemouth, easy.
That's the spirit, soldier.
So, I'm back, everybody. So, Vince, your thoughts on this double game week that's been announced?
Oh my God! How can City keep getting teams to roll over and take it when they want to play? I don't get it. I mean, I thought Arsenal were going to put up a bit of a fight and say, no, we can't be bothered to play next week. It's a bit too short notice.
I've read something about this. What is the situation here?
I don't know any situations, but I was basically saying that they got West Ham to play within 11 days, and now they're getting Arsenal to play in 7 days. So City have got some great lawyers or what have you, but they can get whatever they want when they want it. But hopefully they're out of Europe for 2 years. Oh, it's all looking good for United anyway, next season.
Yeah, I also like this out of Europe for 2 years.
Yeah, of course, there's been no news on this, has there, whatsoever? It's still continuing to be, that is quite literally the case, that they are going to be banned from Europe for 2 years. And I'm fascinated to see what's going to be happening, because there's been no news from even the Premier League regarding if it's going to be going down to 5th place or not.
No, I think there won't be until the summer, to be fair. It's going to really put a problem for them in signings and stuff, because they won't know if they're going to be signing into playing in the Champions League or not. So it's going to rumble on into the summer, I think. So we'll just see about that.
Right, let's just, obviously I've been going on now for quite a while. I've been discussing my thought process on the matches, but seeing as I've got you two on air, I may as well just get your predictions just for the old game itself. And Aussie boy, we'll start with you. So what are your thoughts on Liverpool versus Bournemouth?
I think we're going to come back and, we're fed up. We had a terrible game against Watford and then a pretty poor game against Chelsea. I think we'll just come up and just get just to hopefully...
don't forget Atletico as well.
What?
Don't forget the Atletico game as well.
When is that? Isn't that like next week or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but you had a poor one before, so that's 3 games in a row. And then you'll lose to them as well at home.
You think that?
Okay.
Do you Vince?
I still think 2-0.
They beat them in the Europa final in Klopp's first season. Simeone seems to have something over Klopp, and he seems to beat him all the time.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Well, so you reckon 2-0, Aussie, do you?
I think, yeah.
We've had a question here from Gavin Gould. I'm going to interpretate it as this. He's probably not even meaning this, but do you reckon Salah is going to play?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
See, especially after the poor performance. And he did get rested against Chelsea, so in the FA Cup when we played someone like Mane. So I'm sure he'll play.
What were your thoughts on last night's game? What was just an off day for Liverpool? I mean, what was the team? I don't have a clue.
It was like it was kind of like a bench / sort of starting team. I didn't actually get a chance to watch it, but we lost 2-0. And yeah, it wasn't like we played a poor lineup. We played an average lineup, and they also did. So I would have expected us to win, but yeah, just poor form at the moment, and hopefully we can right that.
Vince, your prediction on this particular fixture, Liverpool versus Bournemouth.
Vince,
Can I
what
just
are you
come on?
laughing about, mate?
Well, I'll tell you, mate. I'll just come on to the fact from someone who's actually watched the game last night. What, you call yourself a Liverpool fan? Anyway, yeah, we were in Discord last night just having a ball because it was like a party inside. I mean, Liverpool played a really strong side, apart from they didn't play Trent, Firmino, and Salah. And so, I mean, it's good because I'm a Trent, Van Dijk, and Salah owner. So I got 2 rested players. They'll be back. And Mane looked okay, but he needed help up there. Everyone else seemed to be quiet. And Chelsea really played well. I mean, it could have been 3 or 4. And Liverpool were lucky to get away with a 2-0, to be fair. My prediction for this one is the same as Aussie Boy, probably 2-0. But because I'm not sure who's going to get the goals, it's not just going to be surely Salah 2 goals, 3 points bonus. So I'm going to captain someone else, I think. But we'll get onto that.
We will indeed. We come on to the first of 2 teams which have a double game week, which is Arsenal versus West Ham. And thank you to whoever it was in the chat that said that the game has now updated it for the double game week up on screen, and there it is right now.
I have a question for you, Steve-o. And Vince, I guess. I have Bobby Firmino at the moment. I got him in after his 3 assist game. Hasn't done anything since. So I was wondering what you would think of a possible move from Firmino to Aubameyang.
Do it.
Considering the double game week.
Just do it.
Good run. Just do it?
Yes. If you've got the money to do that straight swap, I would just do it straight away. The fact that he's got a double game week, absolutely.
You're only bringing him for 3 games though, because Aubameyang also blanks in 31 now. So.
Oh, does he actually?
Yeah, because Arsenal went through in the FA Cup.
But the good thing is that he's so much money that you can easily swap him out.
Yeah.
Well, then I could just go down after, I guess, what other team has the blank now in 31 then? Who do they play?
It's pretty much any Premier League team that's playing this particular game week in the FA Cup is if they go on through. So it's Sheffield United, Newcastle, Arsenal, as you've just mentioned.
They blanked.
Chelsea.
Everyone who's gone through blanks.
Yeah, everybody that's going through in the FA Cup, Aussie, is blanking, basically. That's why everybody's
so happy. I really
happy.
like the look of this West Ham game. That's the thing.
Yeah, I would do it. Just for the sake of having.
It's just the thing with Bobby has pretty solid fixtures for the next 3, but he's just looked really off form when I've been watching.
He's rubbish, isn't he? Get rid of him.
Yeah. I completely agree. Well, talking of Aubameyang and Arsenal, your thoughts on this particular fixture, Aussie Boy, Arsenal versus West Ham?
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. You know? I think he could destroy, but then again, it's Arsenal, and the reason why I'm not so certain on this move is I've had people like Aubameyang in the past. And he gets your 6s and 7s, but then he blanks quite a bit as well. He doesn't haul as much, but he's on form at the moment, and I think he could just do something nice for me.
I think he's got a 9 and a 12 or something like that in the last 2 games. He's been on fire.
He got a 13 and 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on some good form at the moment, and I think with the West Ham game and in a double game week, can do well.
Just a quick question, actually, from Samuel Janssen. Sterling, any thoughts on him for this particular double game week? Maybe swapping out for Mane or Salah? I just instantly saw that. I thought, you know what? Not a bad shout.
Well, I had a conversation with the guy who's number 1 in my cash league, my friend's cash league, and every transfer he's made this year has been like getting 13 points as when he brings him in. And he was just saying he bought in Sterling, so that's ominous to me. That's the only thing I have on Sterling, really. But I would say get him in if you can, because.
But would you bring him in for Mane or Salah?
Not this week, personally, because I don't know, Bournemouth. They usually trounce them, like you say, 3 or 4-0. But it's something to think on anyway.
Well, I'm now tempted by it.
I now have Aubameyang. Done.
Say it again.
I was thinking.
I now have Aubameyang.
Good lad.
He's in.
That's what we're here for. Sabotaging teams.
-4 as well. Yeah, doing a -4 as well while you're there.
What's your score prediction, Aussie boy, on Arsenal versus West Ham then?
Oh, now they have the Bamiyang 4-0.
Vince?
I'm sorry, I love Aussie boy. Yeah, I would say 3-1.
Yeah, that's exactly what the form is saying. Talking of form, Crystal Palace in red hot form at the moment. People like Block FPL are lucky enough to own Van Aanholt. I don't know where on earth that came from, but he's got him. Aussie boy, Crystal Palace versus Watford.
Well, I reckon a 1-0, just because Watford's also in good form now that they've just beat us 3-0. So, yeah, I think. Well, I remember I was listening to Planet FPL, the long podcast when I was at the gym, and they were saying that they're starting to really look like a home team, like playing at home, and they're at home, so you could see a possible Palace win, but I think it's just going to be a 1-0.
Vince?
Maybe a...
Oh, that's a nice prediction. I didn't know about that. They're pulling their home form now because for me, they've always been an away team. So that's interesting. But I would say 2-1 to Watford. I just think they've got the ascendancy at the moment. And they didn't just beat Liverpool, they battered Liverpool, mate. And yeah, I just see it a close game, but maybe a late winner. And anyone with Sarr, that's a really good buy.
Aussie boy, are you like near some form of here we go? I don't know what I can call it. There's a lot of interference.
Yeah,
on
he
your
sounds
end.
like he's in the new Toy Story movie or something.
What do you mean?
It's like this really horrible squeaky noise. It's
Squeaky. I can put in my. Let me put in my ear. That.
yeah. So while he's doing that, Sheffield United Norwich, Vince.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, Sheffield United just played last night, didn't they? And they had I think they went into extra time.
That's right. Yeah.
Did they go through? I didn't check out.
They did.
What
Yeah,
the
they
score
won
was.
2-1 thanks to Billy Sharp.
Billy Sharp. Okay. So yeah, I think they'll come back a bit tired. Norwich, they're doing okay as well, and I'd say this is a 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going 0-0. Aussie boy.
Okay, hello. Is my thing working?
That's perfect.
Oh, I cannot hear anyone.
Live from the moon.
You can't hear us.
Might be an issue.
Worst headphones ever.
While Aussie boy's trying to sort out his thing there, we'll get on with Southampton Newcastle, Vince.
Oh, brilliant. Southampton, are they at home?
Yes.
Look, there's a big issue here because if Danny Ings is still injured from last week, I'm in severe trouble, and as I assume a lot of people are. But hopefully he plays because I've got like triple Southampton. I don't know how I've wangled that, but yeah. I'd say I'm hoping for a Southampton clean sheet. So I'll say they won't get one in order that they do get one. So I'll say 2-1 Southampton.
2-1.
Is it any better?
Can you hear us, Aussie boy?
Yes, I can.
When you're not speaking, just put mute on, okay? Because there's a lot of feedback. But just quickly, Sheffield United Norwich and Southampton Newcastle predictions.
Sheffield Norwich, I think 1-0 Sheffield, and Southampton Newcastle, I reckon 1-0 Southampton.
So Wolves versus Brighton, Aussie boy.
Wolves, but I reckon 2-0 Wolves. I like the look of Jimenez and Jota at the moment playing well. Their defense is doing well, with Doherty especially bombing down the wing. But no, I don't think Traore will play this week because he just keeps dislocating that shoulder. I think they have to eventually give him a rest. So.
Vince, you came out with this shock news that you're, going to be captain Jota.
Oh, I don't hold the gun to my head, but at this
You
stage,
said it live, so I'm going to do
that
it.
means I've got to do it. Well, pretty much that's the way I'm leaning towards, and I might as well go for it this stage of the season. I've got to make up some ground, and if the potential of this double game week now, there's going to be a lot of captaincy options, and for me, because I had three, it was between Salah, Jota, and Aubameyang. and Aubameyang got 12 against these opponents he's playing last time. Salah got 13, and so did Jota got 13. And I just think Jota's on red hot form at the moment, and yeah, I want to get on that. I think.
Where are you
So
in
yeah,
the Cash Mini League?
like 58th or something like that. I've been there like all season.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah, 58th exactly. Yeah, you're exactly the same boat as me. Just cannot move up, cannot move down. And
But to be fair, I got a 100k rise from last week. I don't know how, when I had like 13 points after Saturday, and then Jota and Fernandez did me proud.
Well, you've hit the nail on the head. It's the two differentials, and that's what I was making the point this morning. Sorry, earlier on, is the fact that it's the differentials at the end of the day. Jota and Fernandez. I mean, Fernandez is owned only by 12% of the game. I don't know how many of that is in the top 10,000, but it doesn't really matter because people like you and me that are so bloody hell, you're 400,000.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not actually too sad about being 400k, because actually that's not too bad. I can get 100k, which was my aim. So
you don't think that, despite the fact you got De Bruyne and Aubameyang, you wouldn't captain either of them in a double game week?
Oh, those guys. Well, I mean, Aubameyang, I can't see him scoring against City. So basically, he's a one-game player. So I just count him as the same as the rest of them. And the United game, I guess I'll get onto my predictions on that. But yeah, I think that'll be a close one. And I think United will win that one.
Well, for me, the captain at the moment now is on Aubameyang, but could go to Salah at any point because,
Do you agree with Manchester Reds that this double game week is a trap and many will take hits for players, but due to Pep Roulette, this could be an issue, and he thinks that Arsenal could do anything against City? What do you think on that?
I don't think it's really a trap if you have players like Kevin De Bruyne, who I don't think will get dropped, and maybe you could consider someone like Sterling a trap, because he hasn't been playing that much. He's not really in form at the moment, so I don't know. I don't think it's quite a trap, but yes, certainly some players, like maybe if you're bringing in Saka to kind of come in, even though he hasn't to start on your team, he may not do anything, something like that, or he may get benched and not come on. But I don't really think it's that much of a trap.
What do you think on the... You didn't actually give us a prediction on Wolves versus Brighton, Vince.
Oh, right. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, Brighton are pretty pants away from home, and I just think Wolves are going to just tear them apart, really. I think I'm hoping more, but I'll say 3-0 Wolves.
3-0.
13 points again for Jota. You heard it here first.
But like you said, if you're like myself wanting to climb the leagues, do you really think it's worth that risk captaining Jota when you, like I said, you have got two double game week players in which a lot of people are going to be, let's be honest here, captaining probably De Bruyne if anything, but maybe like Aussie Boy putting it on Aubameyang. Do you really think that Jota's got more of a higher ceiling to score more points?
Okay, well, the way I look at it is not, because I've been doing this all season. I've been trying to go for the highest ceiling, but every time it was between my vice and my captain. My vice has always scored better than my captain. And I'm thinking it's not really, I can't pick who's going to get the highest points, but every time I have a feeling of guaranteed points, I've just got to go for them. And I think Jota will definitely score and get points against Brighton, whereas Salah may not. De Bruyne and Aubameyang, I agree with Manchester Reds, are pretty much a trap, because I've got them in my team already, so I'm sitting comfortably. Anyone who's bringing them in, or more players on top of that, you don't know about the rotation. Sane's back in training. Saka could not be playing because Tierney's back in training. So they might not get both for the double game weeks. And I just think any more than those players is potential risk.
So would you say for people like myself that I've got two double game week players, albeit Saka and Kevin De Bruyne? Do you think that for people like me, or even people like yourself that have actually got top end players in De Bruyne and Aubameyang, just not even bother bringing in any other players? Or do you think it's worth the risk bringing in, say, for example, Sterling in for Salah just for that potential of getting Hall versus Arsenal?
Well, personally, I mean, I'm not bringing in any more players from those teams. Pep roulette is a thing, and I'm definitely not going to bet on that. And I can't see Arsenal. Arsenal, yeah, they can beat West Ham, and they usually historically do well against West Ham, but they're not going to get anything against City. So they're just playing one game this week for me. City, Aguero looks terrible. He can't seem to buy a goal. De Bruyne is on penalties, which is a big thing actually. If you want to captain De Bruyne, he's on penalties. That could be a good captaincy. But apart from that, I wouldn't bring in anyone else. Yeah.
We move on to the evening kickoff on Saturday. It's Burnley versus Spurs, Aussie boy.
I'm gonna go with no Son or Kane still. I don't think. I reckon it could be. I think Burnley might have a shot here. You can see, even though they, what did they lose this week? Like
No, we
by decent.
we drew 0-0.
You win.
Beaten for a while, haven't they?
Oh no, I'm getting mixed up with no.
Liverpool.
I think it could be a 2-1 Spurs. Could be a draw. I just think Spurs will edge it, but I think Burnley will give them a good run. Their money.
Vince?
Well, every time I seem to come on here, Boona must hate me because I just predict Tottenham to lose. And I think your boys are going to have a really good day. It's either going to be a close one, 1-0, but I think you might even get more than that. It's either 2-1 or 2-0. And I'll say Tottenham aren't going to score. I'll say 2-0.
You really think Tottenham aren't going to score against us, despite the fact that we can never do well against, quote-unquote, the top 6, let alone top 4 style teams? Because I do put Tottenham in that category, albeit they're not there this season, so to speak.
But Steve-O, you've been saying that all season, and how many of the top teams have you beat? I know you beat United.
That was just some freak result for crying out loud. Man United.
Is that the only team then?
Arsenal were absolutely. In fact, do you know what? Let's bring it up. Let's try and find out exactly Burnley's fixtures versus
quite well against them.
The traditional top 6 teams, because from my reckoning, I'm pretty certain that it's absolutely pants. Like I always say, it's anybody that's 12th or lower, we always do well against. But anybody, admittedly of late, we've done okay. But let's just quickly find out right now. So we lost, for argument, let's just go for at home. So we lost 3-0 to Liverpool. We beat Everton surprisingly 1-0, albeit Everton had a player sent off. We lost 4-2 to Chelsea, as I mentioned. We lost 4-1 to Man City. We lost 2-0 to Man United. We did beat Leicester 2-1. We drew 0-0 with Arsenal. And then we still got all the big boys, i.e. Tottenham coming to our place again. And Wolves, etc.
So that's 3 good results.
Yeah, they're okay results, but nothing major. And I just, like I say, I just think that Tottenham have just got the quality to find the back of the net against us, and I think it's going to be like that Chelsea game. I think that they're just going to nick it. I think that we're going to lose, and I think it wouldn't surprise me if it ended like 1 or 2-0. Obviously, they beat us 5-0 at White Hart Lane, which was an absolute disaster at the time. But we were just conceding goals for fun back then. So around that time we conceded 4 versus Chelsea, 3 versus Sheffield United, 2 versus Crystal Palace, 4 against City, and then 5 against Tottenham. And then since then we just we seem to have tightened up. And like I say, I just think Tottenham are just going to slightly edge us. But the fact that you're going with a 2-0 win does surprise me, and I'm sure Boona will be in fact, here he is here.
There we go.
We are diabolical, and he's saying 3-0 to Burnley.
There you go.
It's
coming from a Tottenham fan.
Good morning, JNO. He's obviously getting ready for work, as he's mentioned before. I haven't actually said hello to Charlie. Morning, Charlie. Thank you for participating in the predictions. But talking of a game which could be high scoring, which is what I really do think, because they are both terrible in defence. Aussie boy, it's Chelsea versus Everton.
I think it's going to be a 3-2 Chelsea. I think Calvert-Lewin is doing great. I think they're actually playing they're playing quite well as a team. And I reckon Chelsea will edge it, but I think it will be a high scoring game with two teams that are attacking quite well at the moment. And that's just what I think.
I think I agree with you. I think this is going to be a completely open game. Vince?
Yeah, I have to agree. I actually think this is going to be the game of the weekend, actually. And yeah, Everton have looked in fine form, especially against United. They could have won in the last second of the game. They just seem to be a really team playing for each other, and they well, him and Duncan Ferguson, Ancelotti seem to have really put something good together there. But I do think Chelsea will just edge it 2-1.
Yeah. You're not worried about that pattern that I revealed? Essentially, whenever they win a game, they then go either lose or draw?
Oh, right. I was having issues setting up this Discord, so I didn't get to hear that.
Essentially, since they beat us 4-2, the pattern is basically the second they win a game, they go and either lose or draw. So really, if we're going to stick to the pattern, they're probably going to either lose or draw this particular
Who's that,
fixture.
Everton or Chelsea?
Chelsea.
Oh.
It's a very strange, it's very, very peculiar. It's very, very strange indeed. But
I'll change it to 2-2 then.
But remember, whenever we think a game's going to be open, goals flowing, it just ends up being a 0-0. So that's always a possibility. That's how this season's just treated us. So you never know anymore. One boring like Watford, Crystal Palace could be 4-3, and then something like a Chelsea Everton be like a 0-0.
Yeah,
I just could easily happen.
Well, we move on to Vince's team. We'll just quickly get your prediction, Aussie boy, on Man United versus Man City.
I think City will win 2-1, but Bruno getting that nice goal for me would be nice. And yeah, that's just what I think.
So Vince, as a United fan, since Bruno's come in, you're actually playing some football.
Oh, amazing! But when you said my team, I was thinking, what? We've already done Wolves already. But yeah, I just like to banter everyone in Discord when people don't think I support United. But yeah, Bruno's been amazing. We wanted him for 2 years, the fans, and we finally got a player that we actually wanted. And you can just see what a number 10, a real number 10, not Jesse Lingard or Pereira, could actually do in that position. I think it will be 2-1 United. I'm going to stick behind my boys. We've already beat City twice on their patch. So hoping that... And also Pogba's back in the next week, so he's a big option I'm considering as well.
You're thinking... What are you... You're thinking 2-1 City. So you're both thinking this could be quite a tight game then?
Yeah, well, I mean, City might have a lot more shots, but Aguero's pants... I don't know who's going to play on the wing. We might play a back five, to be fair, and that should shut City out. And it will be us on the counter-attack and City around our penalty box and then breaking on them.
That's actually...
Yeah, brilliant. I mean... Well, one stat is Fernandes has played 5 games. He's got 3 goals and 2 assists, and Ozil's played 17 games and he's got 1 goal and 1 assist. So he's on fire. I mean, he's the new De Bruyne, and
yes.
If we just add 2 more players.
Well,
Go on, sorry.
No, I made that point the other day. I said that I think that Fernandes is what Kevin De Bruyne is to City. He is just trying to find the pass to. Essentially to try and win the games, to get the goals, to create something.
I heard someone say that I agree with. I can't remember who, but they said Fernandes is the player that they wanted Pogba to be, and I think
Oh yeah,
He's,
totally.
yeah, he's an insane talent, and he's what you want. He takes lots of shots, creative, and yeah, I actually had Martin last week. He returned, and I thought he was going to be out. So then I got Fernandez, and I'm not complaining whatsoever. So
Yeah,
quite
that's a nice buy, mate. I mean, the thing is about Fernandez is and De Bruyne. De Bruyne's got people to pass it to, so he
Yes.
can actually set up a goal. But Fernandez is
and
taking responsibility on himself, and he's like, I got no shot. So I think
he
he's going to
also
have more
he's
shots and
just
more assists than De Bruyne going till the end of the season. To be fair.
Well, I was thinking this about.
yeah.
I'm not comparing Fernandez to Messi or Rooney, but it kind of reminds me of those two players where they're just frustrated with their teams and they just want to do everything by themselves. Especially with I think of Rooney, and I do think that's what Rooney used to do. He just got so angry at the rest of his team, so he just thought, "Stuff this! I just want the ball myself and just score." And I feel that's how Fernandez is coming across.
But the thing I've noticed about all these players is they've got courage, and they can take the ball the weight on their own shoulders, and if there's no pass on, they'll have a shot. And Fernandez is prolific from scoring outside the box as well. He's on free kicks, corners. He's got 3
Oh
goals.
mate, that shot
Five
made me
games, so.
salivate.
Salivate, that's a good word
I
for a
don't want
16-year-old.
United to succeed.
Well, a game that everybody seems to have forgotten about, not just because of the fact it's a double game, but just in general. And everybody was seeming to thinking, oh, let's captain Vardy maybe for Monday Night Football. It's Leicester versus Aston Villa, Aussie boy. Your thoughts on this particular fixture?
I think it's going to be Leicester smashing Villa 3-1, 3-0. I have Harvey Barnes. Hopefully that's not swaying it, but
If I was to
I
push you for
think
one of the two, 3-0, 3-1?
destroy. Pun?
If I was to push you for a result?
Probably a 3-1, and Grealish or maybe that new striker getting in score on the score.
Samata.
He looks
Yes,
brilliant, by the way.
He looks like the player that they should have got in the first place rather than Wesley.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Do you remember bringing in Wesley?
Well, you've just brought up a memory. That whole
Yeah, I
thing summed
remember
up the
that.
season. Second, saying you bring him in, yeah, he's really good, and then the second you get rid of him, he'll start scoring.
Oh,
Get Samata in your team now.
Yeah. What do you think, Vince, on Leicester versus Aston Villa?
I think they played in the Carabao Cup, and there was 2 very close games, and my 2 favourite players of the season is Maddison and Grealish, and they're pretty much identical to each other. I call them the Peaky Beckhams because they're pretty much like watching David Beckham. But yeah, I just think this will be a close one. I think it'll be 1-1, or I think Villa could just nick it. I've got Maddison, but I'm thinking to get him out for Sarr, but I won't do those moves this week.
If I was to push you for a result, though?
Yeah, 1-1.
1-1. Finally, the final game of the double game, which of course is Man City versus Arsenal, playing on Wednesday. Aussie boy, your thoughts on this particular fixture?
I think Arsenal will get a goal, but I think City will. I think it's either going to be a really disappointing game, like a 1-0 either way, or it could be quite an interesting game, like maybe a 3-2 or 2-1. I think City. I'm going to go with 2-1 City personally.
Vince?
Yeah, I'm just checking who City have got the next game because they've got Burnley.
That's 4 or 5 to City.
And 3-0, but and if he plays a back 5, I can see it being a lot closer. So I'll just say 2-0 City.
Well, they've got Sheffield Wednesday tonight. Then it's United. And then, like you mentioned, it's Burnley. And then it's Real Madrid, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. And Man City have got 3 home games in a row. So Arsenal, Burnley, Real Madrid. They'll play... So tonight, they're going to play a second string team. Versus United, it'll be full strength. Arsenal, full strength.
But that United's away.
Yeah, it's away. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Just-
It's Man United away. It's going to be a full strength. Arsenal away.
Yeah.
Sorry, Arsenal being away at Man City. So Man City at home to Arsenal is going to be a full strength. Man City at home to Burnley. They're going to make changes for that because then they've got Real Madrid and then they've got Real Madrid. So, and I'm assuming the game against Chelsea being postponed. That's game week 31. Is that right? 21st of March. I'm assuming that's the case. So then it's back to the FA Cup again after Real Madrid where they're going to make changes again. So, yeah, the Man City game versus Burnley, that's got 4 or 5-0 written all over it. And I really do think that they're going to be playing full-strength teams in the next 2 fixtures. What did you think the score would be, Vince? Sorry?
Yeah, I don't know, actually. 2-0.
2-0. So do you think actually it may be wise to be bringing in a City defender?
Yeah, well, I don't know if Laporte's back, but I see City conceding against United, probably keeping a clean sheet against Arsenal. But I'm wary against City's back line because Pep can change it at any time. It's just Laporte, really, and I don't know if it's
Isn't Laporte out
available.
for 3 or 4 weeks? Or am I going mad?
I think he might be out. No, I think you're right. I think he pulled up in the last game he just came back in. But
yeah, I don't think that he's going to be ready at all. So
yeah, I think it's a risk anyone but De Bruyne, to be honest.
yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, overall though, are you particularly excited for this double game week? When you heard it was a double game week announced, were you like, yes, this is the greatest thing ever, or did you think, oh, I couldn't care less?
Was he?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking, well, it's cool, but it's City. I get excited when it's one of the big teams against one of the lower teams. It's like, well, we could be in for some big scores. But when you see City and then Arsenal, it's like you're not really as excited because they're 2 teams that I think could put on a more competitive game. It's not going to be like a blowout where you can see some really big scores. Considering, especially with Arsenal, they have the West Ham game in the same week. But I was like, I was already considering the Aubameyang move, and it kind of helped me consider it more, I guess. Just having that extra game. I was looking at West Ham anyway, but then having, that extra fixture to possibly do more, helps, I guess.
Well, talking of Arsenal, Vince, I've heard a few people in Discord, particularly this individual, Davey P. There's always a player. Yeah, there's always a player that comes out of nowhere which gets the biggest double game week score for a double game week team, and it's always a random player. We had Snodgrass last time out, and Davey P and various others are mentioning Ozil.
He's been mentioned him for a month and a half. No one's bitten yet. I'm not even going to bite. I'm not biting.
So Davey P's actually been discussing this for quite a while then.
Yeah, I don't think he's got any replies yet.
There we are.
I'm going to go for Lucas Torreira.
Yeah, it will be one. It'll be some absolute rubbish players. And well, here's a quick one. Would you use your bench boost if you had Pope out? This is from Kev. Pope, Almiron, Lascelles, and Fleck on your bench. Oh no, Kev, don't do it. As a rival, do it. But in all seriousness, I wouldn't.
How about me? I have McCarthy, Bertrand, Lascelles, and Hayden.
Oh,
it's just with I don't really want to do it.
Your bench is about as bad as mine. My bench isn't that bad, but Aussie boy, where are you in the Cash Mini League? Sorry, you're like 80th.
I'm inside top 80 now, so I'm pretty proud of myself.
Your thoughts on this season? Is it just a case of I just couldn't care less? What are your thoughts, Aussie, on this? 76.
At the moment, I like being so low at the moment because it means the moves that I'm making aren't as pressured. But then again, I would like to be higher. And it's weird. Like last season, I touched my team. I was fully 8 weeks. Then every kind of 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, I'd kind of check in. Wouldn't even really make a transfer, and I finished in the top 100K somehow. I don't know what's happened. And this season, I've gone full on kind of tough, like try hard, and just it's been poor.
Well, weren't you
And
talk?
yeah, if you want to see my updated team with like what I'll be playing this week, most likely it's in team screenshots.
Vince, weren't you talking in the Llama Lounge about about the fact that there's no real template teams out there, so it's making it a lot more difficult to play?
Yeah, totally. I mean, there has been no template all season, and there's been really good differentials coming out of nowhere, and people getting on them. I mean, yeah, there's real gains to be had, and I just think going forward, the so-called big teams or the usual suspects, you can't rely on them too much. So I mean, yeah, just play your own game. If you've got any good feelings about a player, just get him in. Really, it's only 10 games to go now, isn't there?
Yes, there is. I mean, Aussie boy, you've got I've got your team up on screen, and yeah, you've got Aubameyang captain. You've got Kevin De Bruyne and Aubameyang as your two double game players. Are you tempted to be getting in any other double game week players, or are you just set with this specific team? And just to bear in mind, everybody, Aussie boy has literally just done the transfer for Firmino out for Aubameyang, so it would be a minus.
It'd be a -4.
Yeah.
Do it.
I've done so. I did that move with a free transfer, but I'm thinking about Hayden to Saka, but I don't really. It's because Hayden hasn't. I don't know. He's not as like solidified and like, he's not as
well. I immediately thought that's a beautiful transfer, but you've got
to ask. On a -4.
Yeah, will Saka bring back in? Well, he's going to bring in. You'd like to think 4 points because he's classified as a midfielder. He won't be losing.
But he might not play both games, Steve-O, because Tierney.
Forget Tierney. I think that Arteta has realised how good Saka is. When he came on, who did he come on against? Kolasinac went off against somebody. I forget who it was. Saka came on and he played really, really well. I would like to think that Saka is going to be first choice. But
it's just like I would really want to do that particular move at the moment, and then could be a potential bench boost.
Well,
but
this season has been all about.
I don't think it's really worth that kind of -4.
But if you're doing,
you don't. So like.
Well, you're predicting 1-0 to Southampton. You've got double Southampton defence. If you bench boost, you could be in the points there.
Yeah, I could, but it's just the thing is I think there could be better weeks, but it's like I'm tempted to do Hayden to Saka. It's like, but it's hard to do on a hit, so it's like I'd want to and then bench boost because I think it's not gonna. I have the full playing bench, and I think they could get some beats and But
well, I would say to you, check if the fixtures going forward, if you could get a better 15, say in the next 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's what I might do, and maybe next week I might do that Hayden to Saka and see if it's a better kind of bench. But we'll have to see, I guess. I'll have a look.
I do like and you're set with the Aubameyang captaincy. I'm assuming that's based just purely on the West Ham game then.
Not yet. Yeah, it would be, and then you never know if they score. He's got a high chance of scoring, but at the moment it's I'm juggling between Jimenez, Aubameyang, and Salah, and maybe even Trent. But I think it's probably going to be Aubameyang.
And Vince, regarding your specific team, what are you potentially planning on doing this particular game week?
Well, I'm through in the Champions League, so I'm pretty breezy now. I'm not worried about anything. But I have to be professional because Manchester Reds wants me to win this round so he can somehow come through.
Oh,
so
right, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Right, okay.
So, yeah, I have to still try and win this round for him and me maintaining my unbeaten run. So I think I'm not. Well, I
Who are
know
you
I'm
up
not going to
against
make
next?
any. The guy who's second. Let me just check.
What, in our Cash Mini League?
No, second in my
Oh, the
Champions
group.
League.
Right, sorry.
Pookie Pies.
You know,
Rich
I've actually
Clark.
got wins.
Yeah, you got 3 in a row now, huh?
Somehow, I don't know what's happened, but could maybe make it through, hopefully, but you never.
Hope so.
Yeah,
But yeah, sorry, Vince, you were saying about Pookie whatever the...
Rich Clark, yeah, Pookie Pies. So it's funny, there's 2 Pookie Pies in the Champions League, but yeah, this Rich Clark, he was on my. We were level. We got the same amount of wins, and we drew with each other last game. So he was my competition, and I'll check his team, but I'm not going to make any changes.
So you're sticking with the team that's up on screen right now then? So De Bruyne and Aubameyang, that's all your coverage is going to be? I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
And
so far my captaincy's on Jota, Vice, Salah. And I'm forgetting the double game weeks because they're a trap, as Manchester Red said.
So you're not going to be captaining either one of them two?
No, it's between Jota and Salah, and now Aussie Boy's got Aubameyang and captaining him. I'm staying away from that.
I'd say... Well, you joke, but
nice one.
You know when like you hear people like myself or Aussie Boy that are doing absolute rubbish at this game, and we say...
Me too, I'm in the same boat. Mate.
Well, you're 400,000, it's pretty good. Do you
At least you two are in the top million. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Do you actually...
See, I'm like just sad at the moment.
But do you...
But Steve, I have to say that you predicted it and you knew it going. Even in, I think it was game week 3 or what, saying I'm going to have a bad season this year because it's always good season.
Oh yeah,
season, good season.
The pattern.
And literally that pattern. So
you go on the pattern.
You will have a good season next season, mate. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's when we're going to get like 3 million subscribers because I'll be #1 in the world and everybody's going to be desperate to come on.
Well, if you listen to your own advice.
Yes.
Yeah, if you listen to your own advice, you'd be much better off, I think, because I remember.
Well, to be fair, I wouldn't be that better off. I think I'd be probably 100,000, maybe 200,000 places better off. I don't think I'd be that far ahead.
You'd be higher than.
Think of all the captains. Think of all the captaincies that you've suggested that have paid off big time that you just didn't do because you didn't trust yourself, and then you wanted to be part of the pack.
Yeah,
all those captaincies add up.
It is unfortunately the sheep mentality. It's even harder when you are doing like a live stream. I keep saying this. It's why I don't bother reading the chat much whenever I'm specifically talking about my team, because all that's going to happen is I'm going to end up copying what they're specifically saying. Although I'm fully aware at the beginning of the show I was asking for advice about what to do. But to be honest with you, with my specific team, I'm pretty happy going into it with just the one. Well, yeah, let's be honest here, an absolute guaranteed player in Kevin De Bruyne playing the double game week and Saka. But because I can't, there's a tiny wincy possibility that I may do Salah or Mane to Sterling, and for an absolute punt, just stick the captaincy on Sterling. But
I just wouldn't do that. But you know what? Go with your gut.
Why wouldn't you do that then? Why wouldn't you do that?
I just don't think Sterling's really having a good season, and I don't think it's not like it's a double game week where they're two great fixtures. It's United and Arsenal. They're not the best fixtures. I think someone like Salah or Mane, who I think are still quite reliable assets.
I'll say one thing. Sorry,
who are coming up against Bournemouth, I wouldn't personally want to do that.
Sterling's never scored against United, mate. So I wouldn't do that.
No, I mean, I've just been kind of facetious in a way because, like I say, it doesn't seem to matter what I do. I just want to try and keep up the momentum from last week regarding, my transfers paying off.
Mane to Sterling could work though, because Mane played the full game yesterday, and Salah didn't really play.
If he is somehow benched, then
If
It
yeah,
would pay off if he's benched. Again, Sterling could be benched. You never.
if
I don't think so, actually, because they're two top teams they have to win against. So I think he'll play Sterling on the left.
I
But
think
does Pep really think Sterling's in the best 11 at the moment?
Yeah, but
Like
who is
he's
he going to
just
play on the left over there instead of Sterling? I know Sane's back and could play against Arsenal, maybe, potentially, but there's no one else to play on that left side.
yeah, maybe. Well, it's a move, but I don't. I just want to do it personally.
And as I said, Steve-O, the guy who's number one in my cash league, transfer he makes pays off, just brought in Sterling. So that's the advice I got for that move.
and how, just of interest, how well is this individual doing overall?
I'll check his OR, but he's like 60k. He's 100 points ahead of me, so I'm not catching it.
And does he play the game from like a serious point of view? Does he play it for fun? What kind of player is he?
It's semi-serious. I mean, because he works out on boats, so he's like a fisherman. So he goes out for 2 weeks, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So he has to do his moves and stuff before, and he doesn't get to watch a lot of football. But he's got some amazing intuition this year. I mean, he brought in Pukki after the Liverpool game, and then Pukki got 13 points. And like everyone he's brought in has just been incredible and been getting 13 points.
Do you know? So a bit like Show Me the Mane then, in a way.
Like Doherty last week, he brought in Doherty, and then just it's unbelievable.
So who did he bring Sterling in for? Or did he have money in the bank and it was just a case of he took out, I don't know, some like Maddison for Sterling? Do you know who he brought in for Sterling?
I don't know who because I'm looking at his old team, last week's team, and he didn't take out Fernandes. Maybe he took out Mane, who he's got in his team. But he is currently, oh my God, he's 29,700.
Is there a lot of people in this Cash Mini League that you've got?
Yeah, there's 19 of us.
Wow. Okay. Is it a lot? You don't need to specifically say if you don't want to. Is it a lot of money at stake, or is it just like a few quid?
Oh no, it's just a friendly cash league.
Okay, fair enough. But it's 20,000.
But we're all friends, and we just really want to beat each other.
Yeah, no, a bit like the the beginnings of this show, shall we say?
Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. I'll tell you what though, if we did get early team, well, we should get early team news on Saturday, and I was to find out. Oh no, oh yeah,
That's
of course,
Liverpool,
yeah, 11:30, so it'll be 11:20ish. Let's just say, right. Okay, everybody in chat right now, everybody in chat listening up right now, right this second. Okay, I'll ask you two first, and then everybody in chat can find out. If Salah or Mane, one of the two, it doesn't matter who, if Salah or Mane are benched against Bournemouth, would you bring in Sterling as just a 2-game punt? Vince?
Oh, I like that, actually. That's given me a thought. If Salah is benched, I'll do that as well.
Okay.
I would say definitely do it.
Aussie boy?
Well, if you can guarantee that they're going to be benched,
No,
then
that's what I'm saying. If the news came out that one of the two are benched, would you do it?
Yeah, I definitely would do it, considering you're missing out on a great fixture, and then you can get that double game week as well. And I'd definitely do it if it was confirmed. But if not, then I probably wouldn't take the risk.
People in chat, let me know if you would do that. So the question is quite simply this: if you found out that Salah and Mane are benched for Bournemouth, would you bring Sterling just as a punt? I mean, Kev is making the point there. He has a shocking record against top teams.
Yeah, he does. And United, he's never scored. So.
What about Mahrez? I mean, what? How do you pronounce your name? Graphics
I
is
rate
saying
Mahrez
instead, or?
Yeah, I like him. I've never had him, so I'm not really one to know about what is.
Is Mahrez someone maybe a potential captaincy option?
Has he been any good recently, or has he kind of dropped off?
Literally about to check Mahrez, because that is actually somebody who I could potentially bring him in Fernandes, just for argument's sake. Because if I'm thinking Man United are going to lose,
who would you be getting rid of? Could you not get rid of one of the Salah or Mane?
Unfortunately, my team's too strong to not being able to get rid of a top player. So Mahrez of late, he didn't play against West Ham. 2 points against Tottenham, 3 against Sheffield United. 1 point against Crystal Palace. The last time he was doing anything was between game weeks 18 and 23, where he scored 6, 5, 17 and 8.
Although he might
I
feel
remember that.
Sorry. He may feel under threat now. Sane's back, so he might want to pull something out of the bag to maintain his spot.
Is he actually back?
He's in training, light training, I think, but I'm not sure when it's. Pep will probably rush him, so probably not.
But no official news. I'll tell you what would be fascinating is I'm going to keep my ear to the grapevine and I'm going to find out the general consensus of what people are doing. And if a lot of people are going to be taking hits or whatever, I may just go into that category. But if not, and majority of people are just going to be sticking with the players that they've got, like yourself, Vince, etc., then I think that maybe it's just a case of I'll just stick with the team I've got and just play with Saka and De Bruyne. But I'll tell you what.
Do you ever do a bus team, mate? Like when the game updates, do you ever set your players for next week straight away? A bus team.
Yeah, that team up on not now, but the team up on screen right now. When I did the bus team, this was what it was. It was what it is up on screen right now. But the difference is no, that was the bus team. Yeah. That is actually what I did. I was so it was so difficult to choose a captaincy. Like I said at the start of the stream, that I don't like putting my armband on an early afternoon player. So I just thought to hell with it, just put it on Kevin De Bruyne, and then obviously the news this morning came through, and it's just by pure coincidence that it's on him. And of that team right there, right now, I'll happily put it on De Bruyne just for the sake of the fact that didn't he score like 2 goals and 1 assist versus Arsenal? Is that right?
Oh my God, yeah, he could have had a hat-trick. But yeah, that was in the first half.
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe. Yeah, there it is. Away from home against Arsenal. They won 3-0 and he got 19 points. I remember a couple of streams ago, I was saying about maybe even triple captaining Kevin De Bruyne. So...
But wasn't that a different Arsenal? Wasn't that... was Arteta in charge the whole season? Or was the other guy in charge then?
I can't remember. No, I think Arteta was in charge, yeah. I think he was, because it may have been the first time that he played against City, I think. Oh,
that's why he came in that game, maybe, because I think he was at City before, and they played Arsenal. No, I think he was on the bench for City then, and then he came the next game.
Ah, right. Kev bringing back some memories. That was the haul we missed, Steve-O, when we took him out for Son.
Yeah, because they had a blank game week the week before, and Leicester coming up.
I was so sad when Son got injured. He was in mine and he was doing great. And, just his arm broke. Or what was it? Was it his arm or was it his leg? I'm pretty
sure. His arm, yeah, he broke his arm.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Break it. This should be break a leg, isn't it?
Yeah.
He was a nice little option I had that he was in my team for a couple of weeks, got a goal and then 2 goals and then got injured. So just as soon as something's looking good in my team, just like this, the rest of the season, just comes crashing.
So it's ominous for Aubameyang going forward. You better be careful this week.
Yeah.
2 good games and he's going to get injured.
Yeah. All I'll say, Vince, is just find out who Dan or James Bang are going to be bringing in, and then I think that's whoever they're doing, then just avoid the play. I'm just going to quickly bring up Statman's team just quickly up on screen because he's specifically asking a question for us, and basically he's. Can you just take over the show for 2 seconds, please? Just 2 seconds. Yeah, his team's up on screen at the moment, and basically he's asking if you want a bench boost or not.
I can't see because I'm on the Discord bit, but Ozzy, can you see the team?
Yeah, he just I can see it. So on his bench he has Pope, Almiron, Lascelles, and Moy. I don't know. I don't think I'd personally. Just with the Pope, I don't think he really has a fixture where he's going to get a clean sheet. I don't think Tottenham will give him, the clean sheet that they. That's just what I think.
Tough ones the next 2, yeah. So I'm not sure as well. I think Newcastle will concede as well because they're away.
Yeah, I don't
wouldn't do
know.
it.
I don't think it's a bench boost. No, I think, and also Moy against Wolves. I don't really think Brighton have much going for them in that game. I wouldn't bench boost personally. Oh, in chat he's saying he'd do Moy to Sa, which that I think that changes things. I quite like that move,
Yeah, I like that move as well.
but I
I
don't
agree.
know if I'd quite bench boost. That's just what I think.
It's a question of when to use the bench boost and free hit and all this. Are you just how many chips have you got, Aussie boy?
I've got my bench boost and my free hit. I used my wild card, and I don't really want to go back to when I used my triple captaincy, but I did.
And Vince, how many chips have you got left?
Yeah, I got the same as Aussie Boy, free hit and bench boost. But I don't get why people are feeling to do anything this game week. I mean, nothing's changed apart from City's got 2, Arsenal's got 2. But I mean, there's going to be better potentials going forward, surely. And you've got double game weeks where you could bench boost and really maximize those points.
Davey P is thinking of using one of his chips. He said that he's tempted by a bench boost.
Why, has he brought in Ozil, has he?
Yeah.
Who did he bring in?
I don't know if he's actually specifically brought him in or not, but he is tempted. Apparently, he's been telling the whole planet to be bringing in Ozil. So,
Ozil, mate. I reckon Torreira. Lucas, he's so good.
I've got to say though, Kev's team, apart from like the triple up with Sheffield United, I mean, some of these players are such dead wood. You're talking Stevens of Southampton, Fleck, Almiron, Lascelles, Moy. Well, maybe not Lascelles, but Almiron.
Almiron's on good form as well now.
Who?
Almiron. He got 2
goals
goals
against flaming West Brom for crying out loud.
Yeah, but he was good the game before, and I think he's on a little bit of form. Him and St. Maximum are linking up well, apparently.
But then you have players like Doherty,
He's even better. I want to really get him.
Davey P making a point about we'll never let it down if Ozil actually performs well. Let's just quickly bring up...
A month and a half, he's done nothing, and he's been on this chat. Let's wait till he does something.
What? So, in all seriousness, So Davey P has been talking about Ozil for essentially almost 2 months.
Yeah, he actually has. He actually has.
Why? Why is Davey P been talking about this? Obviously, you guys speak to him in the Discord and everything. What has brought this on?
I think it's. I remember a few weeks ago when I first heard it from him. I think he scored a goal or something.
He scored last week against Newcastle.
He was looking good again. He was looking good. Kind of a few teams under Arteta, and then he was saying he's on the radar. And yeah, he's been looking at it for a while. I think it's just from previous seasons when he's been a good player. I think it's just thinking about it, but I don't reckon it's.
You might as well get in Sanchez. He
hasn't shown enough.
I mean, Davey P is making he's saying it's not been 2 months, but it's been the last few games that he's been talking about Ozil. He's watched him play, and he's playing further forward. I mean, FPL Boone is really putting in the boot here. I mean, Charlie making the point. Have a look at the heat maps. A brew again throwing in a punch there. As Block said, Davey P hasn't got the best advice. This has become almost like the Davey P Booner.
Like the hangouts.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but the funny thing this is now he's brought it to the light of the nation is the fact that if he doesn't get Ozil in his team and he does something this week, he's going to look more of a fool.
Well, funny you say that because I do find it quite funny when certain people say things in the chat and they don't go through with it. And for example, Davey P did mention about the fact that he was gonna captain Trent all along, and he didn't. Admittedly, he did say on the it was on the Llama Lounge, I think it was. Llama did a stream, didn't he? And he was asking why he didn't captain Trent in the end. Oh no, that was right. It was on the show with Jason, but Jason had gone away, and Llama asked why he didn't captain Trent in the end. and Davey P just said something about heat maps and something to do with me. He said that basically because I captained him as well. He wasn't going to go through with it. So
I mean, but that's what the season's come to now. That's all we've got to base it on.
That's all I've got to say.
But that's the only statistics we can go off. Like the people who are in our cash league now, if they captain someone, we don't captain them. The season's topsy-turvy. That's the only facts we can base it.
He's saying about... I find this so funny. He's saying about, remember the double Leicester defence, that is all. And then Charlie makes the point, yeah, but that was 2 months ago. Since then, Davey P's been... Well, I don't know what Davey P's been doing... what do we call it? How he's been getting on regarding overall
well, as
rank.
He says, after he's wildcarded in 20. Well, we wildcarded the same time, 4 or 5 game weeks ago, and he said he's only got green arrows. So
he's actually on same points as Jason, 1578. Yes, he's had 4 green arrows in a row since game week 25. He's rose from 450,000th up to 170,000th.
But you would think if he backed himself, he would get an Ozil. He obviously doesn't back himself.
Yeah, at the moment he's got De Bruyne and Aubameyang as his only 2 double game weekers. And how much is Ozil? 8 million? 7.5, something like that?
Yeah, he's too much.
I can't, unless Davey's got...
He's no Richarlison anyway.
No, he's got 0.6 in the bank, and I don't think he'd be able to do a straight swap. He'd have to take a hit to bring in Ozil.
Do it then, because I want to beat Davey P.
There we are, Davey P. As a rival, Vince Chapman is essentially holding a gun to your head and saying, "Do it." And the problem is that if he doesn't do it, then
yeah, I hope he bangs. I hope he gets 12 points.
He's 7.1.
Oh wow!
Right, okay.
Bargain. Should get 2.
There we are. I think on that note, everybody, I'm gonna quickly leave it there. Vince, did you enjoy Daily Llama's? Because I know you were part of it. The Daily Llama and Fire Talks stream about the Champions League. I thought it was fantastic.
Brilliant. I mean, it was amazing, and just the job that those guys have done, and Firetog's Matrix style, Neo style ability on setting up these spreadsheets, and the 2 of them just chatting was brilliant to listen to because they're proper broadcasters already. It was just nice to listen to those guys chat. Yeah, I loved it, and going forward, this Champions League's just going to get bigger and better, and it's so exciting now going into the round of 32. What these guys are going to do on live streams and stuff, covering it.
And that's what I wanted to say. When they brought up the point about what they want to do next season, obviously we'll be having a lot of conversations with the moderators and everything moving forward and getting ideas off the community. But I actually completely agree with something that somebody said about qualifying to get into the Champions League tournament itself, and maybe do what Firetog said, which is about having less groups but more players in each group. I thought that was a really good idea, but I certainly do think that to get into the Champions League proper, I think maybe having some form of qualifying league beforehand, building up to it before.
Yeah, so it'd be like the Europa League to get into the Champions League, reverse of the actual way it goes.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't know about doing a tournament. I don't see the point in doing some form of tournament. Certainly maybe whoever's got, we have the X amount of applicants from Discord, and then you total up their points over, say, 10 game weeks or whatever we decide to do. And then whoever's the top 60 teams out of that then get to qualify into the Champions League tournament. I don't know, but I do agree with you that I think that once it becomes a more regular stream, a podcast, whatever, I think that the interest will spark up, because my interest was through the roof when I was listening to that. I was just like, this is absolutely amazing, listening to these 2 guys talk passionately about a tournament which unfortunately just hasn't been covered that much, because let's be honest here, myself and Jason just haven't got, unfortunately, the time to do it. But thanks to people like Llama now, and we've now entrusted him to do these streams, can do it.
Yeah, Exactly, but it's also now getting to the nitty gritty where it's exciting and people really want to know going forward. Whereas before it was like, I'll play you twice, doesn't matter, I'll get you on the next game. But now it's really the rivalry is serious.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. And on that note, Vince, thank you for joining me late on, but really do appreciate it. Have you got any, as I always say to all my guests, do you have any final thoughts before we let you go?
Yeah, I was thinking about this just before I came on. Basically, I want to say to all the Liverpool fans, congratulations on your season, but it's pretty much over if you lose to Atletico Madrid. You're not going to get the treble. Arsenal still maintain their unbeaten run. And really just enjoy your lives from there. You've had a good season and get over yourselves. And that's me done.
I'm going to see if Aussie Boy wants to reply to that. Aussie Boy, do you have any reply to that?
Yeah, just because you're salty over your Manchester United's poor season or seasons, I should say, doesn't mean your only source of happiness should come from putting others down. Okay, we're enjoying what we have. We haven't won it in 30 years, so we should be able to be happy and express our joy because it hasn't happened for a long time. So just let us be.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to. Just don't do it over everyone else's enjoyment. You salty guys.
You're the salty one.
Okay.
Vince, thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot, mate. Pleasure.
Cheers, dude.
Nice one.
Aussie Boy, like I just said to Vince, have you got any final thoughts before we let you go?
Yeah, let's bring on double game week 29. Aubameyang hat trick. It's gonna be great. My captaincy score 40 points. It's great. Yeah. Thanks for having me on as well. It's always fun coming on chatting FPL for hours. It's great. Thanks.
Yeah, literally too. Cheers, dude. See you later.
See you later. See ya. Thanks.
And on that note, yes, that's the end of the stream, everybody. We're going to call it morning. It's crazy to think it's only 8:30 and I've been up for like nearly 6, in fact 6 hours I've been awake. That's mental. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's joined me this morning on this breakfast show. Really do appreciate it. Once again, thanks to Aussie Boy and Vince for joining me for the last hour or so. I think it may have been longer than that, but it doesn't really matter. Double game week at 29 announced. That's my team up on screen. Am I going to do anything with it? Probably not. I'm going to leave it as it is, but you never know. If I hear some early team news on Saturday, you never know. But the problem is that I'm going to be at work. That's the only downside, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get to my phone to find out. But I think that because it'll be playing on the back of my mind, I think I might just be able to do it. And if I do find out that Mane or Salah aren't starting, I think I may just do, for free, Sterling in for Mane or Salah if one of them doesn't start. Other than that, everybody, I think I'm going to call it a morning. And it's going to be the usual admin. If you've enjoyed the stream, just simply hit the like button. If you're completely brand new around here and enjoy the morning shows, then just simply hit the subscribe button. If you're completely new around here and you're watching on the replay and you enjoy the content myself and Jason produce, just simply hit the subscribe button. Other than that, just follow us on social media with Twitter and Instagram, mainly Twitter if I'm honest with you, at Elite FPL. Join the Discord, that's how you get live on air like Vince and Aussie Boy did and many others like to do. And you'll be part of a wonderful community that we have brought together. And of course, download the Elite FPL app for all. And remember, this time next week, we could be nominated for the FCAs. Who knows? Other than that, all I can say is have a good day to everybody, or a good night's sleep to all our friends abroad. See you later, guys, and I'm assuming Jason's going to be streaming tomorrow evening, so you'll be able to hear his thoughts on this particular double game week and his predictions as well. So see you later, guys, and catch you later.